Well, welcome to the next episode of the Pirate Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Perry, and today I'm just going to break down one of my old frameworks that I've used for marketing on social media, and it's called the 7-Post Game Plan. And the 7-Post Game Plan is designed to rapidly build know, like, and trust for your audience. Because if your audience knows who you are, that's the first thing. Secondly, do they like you? And third, do they trust you? And so if you're watching on YouTube, then you're going to be able to see me share my screen here in just a second. These are actually webinar slides that I used from a couple of years ago. The great thing about putting in a bunch of work and creating a bunch of webinar slides is that you can continuously use them. They never go out of style. So, so let me just share that and let me just get right into it. Let me share Google Chrome. Let me share the framework here. Okay. So the question is, how do you get people to know, like, and trust you? Well, I say that it really starts with two sides of the same coin: competency and character. Competency and character. Now, competency and character are both important because when we're communicating competence, if your posts aren't talking about like the real results that you're able to get people, or if you're not talking in a way that actually allows people to understand that you are an expert, or if you're not demonstrating your own prowess, then it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what you are talking about. They need to know because everybody's always asking the same question, right? Why should I be listening to you? And you need to have a compelling reason. So competence lets people know that you're an authority on the subject, right? On the other side, character is you showing your personality. And when you share your personality with people, they will either like you for it or they won't like you for it. And they'll just kind of self-select themselves out from being a part of your audience. And I think that it's actually more important now than ever to just be completely upfront about who you are, what you're doing, how it works, so that when somebody does come across you, they can tell very quickly whether they want to follow you or not, whether they resonate with you or not. And I'm going to be sharing examples of these different posts in this podcast, so stay tuned. Character is the trait that makes people stand up to your message and says, yeah, that's my story too. It also increases your likability factor and the odds that they'll actually reach out to you. And this is one of my favorite quotes from John Wooden. He says, be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. And so I really like this because, at the end of the day, your character is more important than really what your reputation is. Reputations come and go. And I think reputations are like money in the bank account. Like if you find yourself, really enjoying some of the finer things in life, it might not have been that long ago that you were struggling, maybe financially. But then, as you know, that there are seasons, sometimes, in the span of even a week, you could go from, not knowing where your next meal is going to come from, if you will, to being overly abundant with financial resources. And so I think that reputation goes up and down too. And I think that we've definitely seen that over the last couple of years, especially through the pandemic and the prevailing belief systems that tried to be installed throughout that time. There were beliefs that were held at the height, and then there were things that aren't so popular now. So I think that, again, reputation comes and goes. You can create a reputation You can have a good reputation. People can like you, people cannot like you, but your character, who you are, your internal compass, I think that that's really the most important thing. So anyway, let's start with the attraction process. This is where we're going to convey competency and character. All right. So here is the 7 post game plan. Okay. Number 1, Credo posts. Credo posts is a statement of the beliefs or aims that guide someone's actions. That's a credo. What I would say is, if you have a strong belief, share it. Because if you don't, then your silence on a particular subject is taken as admission. All right. It's taken as like, I accept this. If you don't speak up and say, actually, I don't believe this. Like, I believe that there are men and that there are women. And I believe that there are men who would like to go through a process to become women, but I don't think they're actually women. And I think it's the same for women becoming men. All right. But I don't agree with men becoming women being in sports with other women. I think that that's just dangerous. And I think that it's very clear that there's people that are bigger and there's people that are, you can seriously get hurt. So that is like you conveying, right, your beliefs. It's your philosophy. It's who you are. Like, what makes you you. Share that inside of a Credo post. Your personal philosophy is, I think, probably one of the things that will get people to self-select themselves to either stay watching you, or they'll opt out of wanting to watch you because it's like, nope, don't resonate with this. In fact, what I just said might have not resonated with somebody and they could have already bounced off. Right. So don't think you could go wrong at all with Credo posts. In fact, if you want to breed more know, like, and trust, man, it doesn't just come down to be who you are. So here's an example of a Credo post, right? You're going to pay in either time or money. It's science. I don't have a magical third option that gets you there without paying with one of the first two. Okay. Positive thinking won't make a burning building go away. Sometimes you've got to make the hard choice to leave behind what's keeping you stuck. See, it's just like you sharing your personal philosophy. When you wake up before 6 a.m. every day is a kick-ass day. And then people say they want confidence, but it's really courage they're after. And courage isn't cheap. So those are Credo posts. Next post, Apothegm. Weird word, spelled a little weird, but you're going to love it when you start using it. Apothegm, Apothegm, right? It stands for a concise saying or maxim, an aphorism. I want to tweak this because it's been a couple of years since I've given this training. An apothegm really is just a short declarative statement. Now, Credo posts that I shared before, they were kind of short, but I want to say an apothegm is really short and it's declarative. It's almost like you're an authority on it. And, when somebody says that's that, like, and we're not having another conversation about this, or that's the end of the matter. Like, it's basically, here's what I believe on this, and that's that. So picture like a policeman that says, get out of the car. All right. That's a very clear, a directive. Okay. So an apothegm, use apothegms. Here's some examples. Simple but profound. Anything will be a scam if you don't do your part. Love that. That's not even mine. That was from a lady named Nika. Another apothegm. It's not that people don't like being sold to. They hate lying about selling to them. So it's like, if you're going to sell, just sell. But if you're going to sell, just be damn good at it. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be where your people are at. Apothegms. Okay. If your guru cannot admit their own mistakes, run. If your guru makes fun of others for admitting their own mistakes, run faster. That one got 136 likes, 31 comments. And, if you're listening, right, I'm sharing screenshots of social media posts of different examples. And so if you want the the counterpart to this podcast episode, just go to YouTube. I'm under Ben Perry, or you can even just search for the Pirate Marketing Podcast, episode 5, I believe. Next, binary and question posts. Okay. This is actually one of the things that I'm really proud of. I believe that I was one of the first people to really bring this into vogue, but this is a binary question. You don't give people a whole lot of room to wiggle, right? So it's either yes or no, true or false, A or B question. And I don't even like to spell it out. I like to just use the letter. So if I'm asking a binary question, I'll just say Y or N. Okay. You can also use fill in the blanks. So here's an example. Most people are socially savvy. True or false? Now, I actually wrote T or F. What's awesome is you don't have to write out true or false because people get it. And when you write T or F, it's implied that you want them to only put one character. And let me tell you why and what the power is. I'm only sharing one character. When you share one character, or when you say A or B, true or false, Y or N, if somebody's amount of effort it takes to respond to you is only one character, then that is low risk and it's low effort on their part, which increases the likelihood that they're actually going to comment. I would actually say, I haven't used this on Twitter. Twitter is just starting to kind of, become super popular, like mainstream right now that Elon's kind of bought it. But I'm sure that the binary post would work very well over there. Here's another one, a fill in the blank. If I didn't blank with my money, then what's the point? 21 comments, right? Had 38 comments on the last one. Here's one. If you have a business on Facebook, do you trust Mark Zuckerberg? Y or N? This was actually around the time when he was coming out with, Facebook was coming under fire and Mark Zuckerberg was, controversial. And so I was using the, what was basically pop culture to be able to piggyback off of using a binary post. And this one got 75 comments, 35 different reactions. True or false? The higher my frequency gets, the harder it is for me to be around low frequency people, inspired by Lauren Jane's post. 95 comments. You know what? I might just use that right now. Let me just do that. I'm actually going to do that right now. I'm going to go to Facebook and I'm actually going to post this as an actual post, and we will see. We will see what the reactions are, and maybe by the time that I publish this, I'll have the results. All right, so let me find a background. Okay, here we go. I'm going to use the Moon version. T or F. Quote, the higher my frequency gets, the harder it is for me to be around low frequency people. There we go. All right, published. And we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. All right, moving on to number 4 in the 7-post game plan, the experience post. This is a chance to share personal experience with your audience. Better if it's empowering, best if it's also entertaining as well. Okay, so this is you sharing stories about your life. This is you kind of letting the audience in on a little bit about who you are and what you're all about. And then, if you can weave in a lesson, or better yet, if you just shift your mind to always be on the lookout for the lessons that, the universe, the world, God is teaching you, and you share that in your story, I think that's very profound, because I don't think a lot of people connect the dots. But when you could connect the dots for people in telling your story, then I think that that's super powerful. Okay. So here was an example. I said 3 ways to not stay broke like I did when I first started selling coaching. And I go through my entire experience. Okay, here's another one. With a super early rise to make it to a super packed day for Funnel Hacking Live 2018, it can be tricky to get your daily meditation in. Just rocked out a phenomenal prime light meditation with Anthony Aramini in my car with the AC blasting. Now I'm ready to take on the rest of the day feeling so grounded and centered. Okay, here's one bunch of people from Funnel Hacking Live and my experience. And then here's one on me talking about manifesting by allowing, or AKA getting out of my own way. That's where I told the story about how I really wanted to, before I had any money, before I really knew anything, I think I had $20 to my name, and I wanted to go take photos of this beautiful hotel. And when I showed up to enter into the hotel, they had a booth there, and you had to pay $20 to park your car. Pull up, and then you push the button, the ticket comes out, but you only pay on the way out. And I was like, dang, it's $20. I only have $20. And so I actually turned my car around, didn't end up entering the hotel. And as I'm leaving, I'm like, you know what? I really want to take these photos. And so I turned around and went ahead, pushed the button, grabbed the ticket. The little arm came up. I was able to drive through. Had an amazing time, taking photos at this beautiful resort, because Orlando's filled with resorts when I was living in Orlando. And when I left, I had such an amazing day. I knew that I'd made the right call. And when I left, the ticket wouldn't work. It wouldn't read. And I was like, what the heck's going on? So after a couple of minutes, I pushed the little button hey, speak to a representative on the little box, and person comes through hey, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, my ticket, it's not reading. What do you want me to do? And they go, don't worry, we got it. And they just opened the arm for me, and I was able to drive through completely without having to pay the $20. And so to me, that was just a revelation that I was on the right path. I got out of my own way. I focused on the thing that I really wanted without worrying about how I was going to do it. And that's pretty much how I've lived the rest of my life since that day. That was in 2015, 2016, something like that. So that's number 4, the experience post. Number 5 is the personality post, right? This is where you share your personality through photos, hobbies, sports teams, things you love, entertainment styles, etc. Okay. For me, I love coffee. I love journaling. I love books. Here's just a picture of me with all 3 of those things. Okay, here's one where I'm drinking some green juice. Here's one sharing my library, which, by the way, I have such a bigger library now. This library has nothing on my current library. Maybe I should post another photo of my library because, dang, this one got 49 comments and over 100 likes. What did I say? When I invite people to my home, I want them to be impressed by the size of my library, not the size of my TV. See, if you're somebody who also resonates with knowledge, not to sound like Ty Lopez, but, learning and putting things that usually smart, old, dead people wrote in a book of their life experiences. If you're into that thing, or if you're into the smell of books, or if you're into just, there's YouTube videos where it plays jazz music and across a backdrop of a beautiful grand library. These are things that resonate. This is totally different than somebody who's into sports. I'm not into sports. I'm more into learning, leather, books, leather bound, more like a modern day, wizard, not like Harry Potter, but arcane knowledge, that's what I'm into. And that resonates with some people, and it doesn't resonate with some others. So share your personality. Here's me dressed as Captain Jack, next to another dude dressed as Superman. Here's a stack of my journals. It says a visual representation of my growth over the last 5 years. I've got way more journals now. right? So those are all personality posts. Sixth type of post is results post. This is where, like, remember we talked about the difference between competency and character, and they're two sides of the same coin. This is where you are demonstrating your competency. So this is proof of the results for yourself and for your clients. These are social proof posts. These are testimonials. These might be videos or screenshots, but it's basically, hey, the language of results speaks the loudest, right? You could say that you're good, but if somebody else says you're good, that's better. So here's a testimonial from a person. Here's another testimonial, screenshots. Okay. You with certain people, right? Displaying status, social status. Okay. Being interviewed on podcasts, or if you were on a prominent podcast, like, this is really awesome, right? And this is part of the results post. And then the last post of the 7-post game plan is the invitation post. This is where you make an offer. This is where you invite somebody to take action. This is the direct response marketing post. So notice that all the rest of these are basically just content filling in like your philosophy, filling in like a declarative statement with the Apothegm. Binary question is designed to be able to get engagement. The experience post is where, you tell a story about something that happened to you and you can weave in a lesson with that. Personality post is you basically sharing how, what kind of strange human being you are. What's the flavor of human being that you happen to be? Results post is the undeniable results that you've gotten for people. And then an invitation post. Finally, if somebody wants to learn more, where do they go? Where can I go to find out more about you? Where can I go if I want to learn to work with you? Where can I go if I want this particular PDF? And all of that is designed to be able to push people off of the social platform that you're posting on and to someplace else so that you can then be able to carry on the conversation. And I would say, if you're not making an invitation post, but you've been putting out a whole bunch, like, I don't know how people are doing these TikTok posts. I don't know how people are doing these Instagram reels if they're not actually like saying, hey, here's how to be able to get a hold of me. Because the whole point is when you ask for somebody to do something, when you have a call to action, they're more likely to go and do it. I know there are plenty of YouTubers that I watch, that I follow. And if they tell me, go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, I'm like, oh man, I want to support this person. I want to like the video. Let me go and like the video. So there we go, like invitation post. Now, here's something to keep aware of. With your invitation posts, normally the engagement on them will be next to zero. Like very little engagement. But that doesn't mean that people aren't seeing it. That doesn't mean that people aren't clicking through. That doesn't mean that people aren't like saying, actually, I really would like to book a call with you so I could find out more information. Right? So just know that about invitation posts. And then here's a couple of examples of my invitation posts. Right? So here we go. Just a couple of different examples here. Right. And I call out like who the person's for. Coaches and consultants, this post is for you. And then it pulls them in. So to recap, 7-post game plan, Credo posts, Apothegm posts, binary question posts, experience posts, personality posts, results posts, and invitation posts. These are displaying both your competency and your character. Character posts are the Credo post, the experience post, and the personality post. And the competence posts are the Apothegm post, the binary question post, the results post, and the invitation post. So use these. Let me know how it works out for you. If you're able to use these and you see results, or if you thought that this was valuable, let me know. Let me know by going and leaving a review on this podcast, right? Wherever your podcast app that you're using, go and leave the review. I would be so appreciative. Thank you so much. And there you have it. there's a 7-post game plan. So use that. Let me know how it works out for you. I'm going to dock the episode here, and I will see you on the next one. Savvy.